Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you have a good day today. Today we are doing a live with Nirjary Desai. Let me go ahead and add her.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. It's so nice to finally speak to you.
Yeah, it is, right? We had a long conversation over the email.
Yeah, we definitely did. I'm
Yeah,
super excited to get the opportunity to speak to you.
thank you. We are excited to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's start with the basics. We want you to share about yourself with our viewers.
Yeah, so my name is Nirjary Desai. I'm the owner and founder of Kiss Cubed Events, which is a boutique luxury special events experiential firm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. We travel globally producing events that are culturally diverse and socially inclusive. I also specialize in luxury destination weddings. I've been in this business for about over 15 years now.
Wow.
Um, and it's been an amazing and incredible journey along the way, and I'm proud to say that I'm a women-owned business, and I love working with other women and elevating, inspiring, and empowering them to figure out their why.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's why we really wanted to have you because we know a lot of women, they want to do something in their career, but there is something or some factor is there which held back them. So you can get a great inspiration for our viewers.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's so important, especially more so now than ever, for women and their voices to be amplified, and also focus on their careers and their desires as well as their goals. Because I think for a long time, women have been kind of told to be more so behind the scenes, and I think now we're at a point where we're ready to be in the front. I'm sorry, my camera is really just messing up, so I'm trying to like get it to
It's
work
okay.
properly. Okay. I haven't done an Instagram live in such a long time. I feel like I almost forgot how it works.
Yeah, and since the Instagram is focusing on videos and lives now, images getting outdated and videos are in the scene now.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. So I would like to know, like, how you get an idea about getting into the event organizing business.
So my background is in hospitality and marketing and brand management. So I actually went to business school as well as hospitality school. My background started with a career in the airline industry and then transitioned into the luxury hotel industry where I was doing marketing, sales, brand management. Um, I was constantly getting pulled into the event side of things with that. So, it was an easy transition for me because I already was a part of the industry, and I really stepped into it from a different capacity, servicing, luxury, not only South Asian clients, but as well as my corporate clients as well. So I think for someone that wants to get into the event industry, I highly recommend, go go to hospitality school, learn, really arm yourself with that, because that knowledge and that expertise that you get armed with really is a lot more than what you're just going to get thrown into on working events. Because if you want to start from the ground up, you're going to be starting depending on which division of the events industry you want to work in, so that's going to be, you could be setup, you could be banquets, you could be front desk, you could be housekeeping. There's so many different avenues to the event industry.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good. So, you directly, once you had an experience with hospitality, you directly thought you want to have your own event organizing company, or you worked with some other company and then you started your own.
No, I really pursued a career in events and hospitality. So I got corporate trained first. My corporate job was for close to like 9, 10 years before I stepped into this on my own. And even when I stepped into it on my own, you know, there's a constant roller coaster of challenges and learning curves that happen. So I was really focused on making sure that I conquered those and understood every aspect of it that I potentially didn't know of. And, you know, I didn't walk into this as if like I did know everything, even though I still had the educational background in it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I see some familiar names joining. DJ Shilpa, Emily.
Yeah.
Nice. Hi,
I should.
Shilpa.
Yeah.
Sorry to divert.
So, yeah. So, when first you started your own event, right? Our very first event which you organized, and fast forward to the latest event, how you would differentiate like how the way you started and now how experienced you are?
Well, I can say my first event ever planned was I was in college. I served on, you know, the Indian cultural exchange for the University of South Carolina called ICE. I was in charge of their India Night show. So that's how it started, you know, my journey in the event industry. And keep in mind at this point, I was still trying to like, you know, figure out my path and potentially go to med school and all of that kind of stuff. So this whole world of business and events wasn't where I had originally planned on being. But now, fast forward, you know, 20 years later and being part of the industry for over 15 years, I can say I've learned a lot. I've produced a lot. For me, it's always pushing the buttons for the team that's working with us as well. You know, the team of vendors, suppliers, clients. I really believe in empowering and elevating excellence with everybody that's part of our team. And I think that's really important. I knew that, you know, I wanted to learn every aspect of it, not only just the planning and putting a spreadsheet together, but the layouts, the production, understanding the lingo of the lighting and the technical side of things and all of that, which was really, really, really important in being successful at this.
Oh, that's good. uh, would you say it takes a lot of efforts from inside to get successful rather than just looking outside of the factors?
Absolutely. I mean, I think anybody who claims that they did it all on their own, that's not true. I think there's a lot of, you know, it's kind of like I always say there's to climb stairs into your home, there's a step every way before you get to the top, right?
Yeah.
And you have to climb each step in order to figure out how to get to the top or get there, right? And nothing happens overnight, you know? I mean, everything is a learning curve. I mean, like I said, being part of the industry even now, 15, 20 years later, I'm still learning and I haven't stopped learning, you know, and I think that's the biggest part of it, you know. And success comes with the amount of work that you're willing to put in. It has nothing to do with it being given to you. You know, I think number one thing is put in the work and it will come to you, but don't chase the money. If you put the work in and you're passionate about it and you genuinely wholeheartedly care about what you're doing, then I promise you it'll come. And success to me isn't measured just by money. Success is measured by, you know, your respect in the community, how you work with others in the community, in your industry, how you focus on educating and giving back and paying it forward. All of that is super important. And I think that is how success is measured. So this idea that people have that success is only measured via money, that's not what it is. And success is also not measured just by external factors. You have a lot of internal soul searching to do as well to get to your success, right? I think like if you have to measure it in baby steps, right? And then big milestones come.
So, like, if we talk about you, do you set milestone in terms of success to measure your success?
Absolutely. I think it's so important to consistently set milestones and consistently check in with yourself. I think that's really, really important. If you don't have a mental check-in with yourself, your team, your spouse, your family, and everybody, you're never going to get to the result that you want to be at. And that's really, really important. And that's with anything you do in life, not just a business. If you're like, hey, I need to save this much money by this age. Well, you have to put the work in. You have to financially plan for yourself, and you have to basically start saying each month I'm going to put in X amount, or each week I'm going to put X amount to reach my goal by the end of the year, and continue that, because by the time I'm, say, 30, 40, I want to be at this place in my life and have a cushion. So I think that's all of that is what's really important.
That's good. So, what motivates you?
I think people motivate me. I think people who are not only passionate about what they do, but I think people who see themselves as, I want to create an impact. I want to create a change. I think that's what motivates me. Because for me, on a daily basis, I think my goal in this industry and this business has always just been like, what impact do I want to create? That is what's important to me, And I think once you figure out the impact and you figure out your why, then everything in life kind of starts falling into place, and it makes you a better communicator. It makes you a better leader. And I think that's what kind of helps you fuel that.
Sounds good. So, like, uh, you, how you got the idea of name of your company? So, I saw that it's Kiss Cubed Events, and it sounds really interesting. So, I really want to know how you come up with that name.
So when I was in MBA school in England, one of my marketing professors used to always say, in anything and everything, use the KISS principle, which is keep it simple and stupid. And it always stuck with me, right? And when the time came and I knew I wanted to start my own business and my own company, my own brand, I just kind of started coming up with so many ideas and so many names and everything, just writing it all down. And the KISS principle just always stuck with me, right? So I'm like, well, what are the types of clients that I'm, receiving? Well, my clients like simple communication. They like a sophisticated event, but they want their own style kind of put into it. So then it kind of just dawned on me, well, those are also the types of events I want to produce. I want to produce events that are simple, events that are sophisticated, and events that are stylish. And I think that's where it really stuck, where it's KISS cubed, KISS raised to the third power, which is cubed. So that's how it kind of came. And it's like, we focus on keeping it simply sophisticated with style.
Oh, that's interesting. So, uh, if you say you are organizing an event, right? So, how you will describe the process? Like once client come to you, how you process that? Like, what are the requirements? How you are going to deliver them?
I think number one thing is really understanding my client and their needs is where I kind of start with. I think it's so important to understand what is your need, because it's also kind of like delivering to your clients what they never thought they needed. Because a lot of clients come to you with one vision. They come to you with a vision of what they've already seen out there, and they think that's what they want, right? And
Mm-hmm.
really understanding and almost training your client. Well, you want this, we're going to deliver this, but how about we deliver it in this manner? What about this way of execution? What about this type of a menu? What about this type of a presentation? What about this type of an entry? What about this type of an entertainment? So I think it's more about getting more detailed and granular, because everything is an experience. And our job and my job is to make sure that when a client walks into a space or they come to work with us, we make sure we provide such a luxe elevated boutique experience, but that we leave them with memories that are unforgettable.
Wow. And how you define success, like for any woman who is in any business or job, how you will define success for them?
I think the best way to define it is just get started. Stop putting it off. Stop, holding off on things. I think find a good mentor, find someone to guide you, and put the work in. If that means investing in training, investing in classes, then do those things. You're not going to figure it out all on your own, and don't be scared about that. But find the right resources. And if that means that you're going to invest in those resources, and those resources are going to help you get started, those resources are going to help you excel, then do it. Because the hardest part is getting started. And if you don't get started, you're never going to know what it was. So you can't have a definition of success if you're too scared to get started.
That's true. That's really true. Because many times it happens because of fear of failure, we don't even start.
The thing is, failure is just a term, right? I think failure needs to be looked at more so as it's a temporary diversion. The universe didn't mean for you to go in that direction in this moment, but instead you had to go through a few other things before you got to that final destination. And maybe what you thought your final destination was never your final destination. That's just what you had convinced yourself that it was. But then it's crazy how the universe pulls out so much potential in you and makes you see, beyond what your comfort zone. And that's what's really, really important.
Yeah, that's true. So have you say what is unique about your business compared to other event organizing businesses?
My thing is, I'm sorry, that's my dog barking down there. Stop. I think, I won't say that we do anything better or whatever, but I know what we do and I know what our process is. So I think for me, what's really important is believing in our process, believing in what we do, and also transparency is super important. I think, delivering to your clients and saying, hey, this is what the reality of the cost is for my service, for my team and I to be on the job, because it costs this much to pay my overhead and so on and so forth. I think that's what's really important, because I think over the years, what I've noticed where a lot of planners and other people in the industry come to me is like, they shortchange themselves. And I think in the South Asian world, it's this whole let's undercut pricing and stuff like that to get ahead. But that's not what's going to make you successful. Volume labor doesn't support volume business. And the important thing is to really understand that, be transparent with your customer. Have them understand why things cost what they cost, or think of it in the sense of the career path that they're in, right? And kind of explain it to them in that capacity. And I think that's where it's really important to make you successful in that sense, when you're trying to gain business or you're trying to solidify a client and everything, because it's really, really important. So for me, it's like, I won't say that like, I believe we are who we are and we do what we do. And I think every company does what they do. But I know for me, I know my process, and I know my policies and procedures the best. And I know how we operate, and that's what I can speak to.
Good. What kind of advice you would like to give other women to need them to help them balance their personal life and professional life?
I think the advice I would give other women is, surround yourself with the right tribe. If people in your tribe are not elevating, they're not inspiring, and they're not empowering you, and they are negative Nancy's and they're bringing you down, I think it's really, really important that you find a new tribe, because it's so, so important that you as a woman, first of all, our biggest challenge is that we're women, and people already think that, oh, we might not be as capable as a man. But women, we are just as capable as any man out there. And number one thing is, if you don't have the right tribe and the right girls, guys, LGBTQ community and everyone out there, if you don't have the right tribe, then that's not your vibe. Find the right tribe that's about your vibe, because that's what's really important. And you know, I just turned 40 this year, and one of the biggest things is I look at my life in the sense of like, if it's not serving me, because my peace is way more important to me in my life where I'm at, you know, whether it's my career, my personal life, my professional life, and everything. If it's not serving me, then it's not right for me. It's not right for my company, it's not right for my business, and it's not right for the people who are part of my organization. And I'm okay with saying that, because I think that in the past year, what we have been going through just as an industry and just as human beings with COVID and all the social injustice and everything, I think it's so important that you really check yourself and ask yourself, like, what is important, you know?
Mhm.
And who are the people around you that are important? And if you can't name, you know, you may have a Rolodex full of people, you may have Facebook full of so many friends and everything and acquaintances, but if these people cannot say positive things about you, or they can't say positive things about you when you're not there, then they don't need to be part of your inner circle. And that's okay. And that includes the people that you work with. You know, if that means your suppliers can't have your back, then that's okay. You don't need to work with them. You need to find the right team that's going to have your back and that's going to fight for you, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, of course. So, as you said, supplier, inner circle and everything. So, can you share one event or one incident during which you have, maybe, you know, you need to pull off the things to work out at the event, like anything went wrong or something like that? Any
I'm
kind
sorry,
of
you broke up there
experience?
a little bit. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, so would you like to share any incident during your event which is like fun and still came out good?
Yeah, I mean, there's always incidents. You know, every event is different. There's challenges that are going to come. There's lots of wins that are going to come. Things turn out a lot better than what we expected and everything. And I think the number one thing is, it's like really making sure, like, it's like anything in life. It's like, doesn't matter how much you prepare for something. Sometimes things don't go the way you wanted it, or sometimes they go way better than you expected it. So I think it's like in the process, like, stay humble. And you know, when it comes with like your team that you're working with, always be grateful, always show your gratitude. I think that's so important as well, because a lot of times I see a lot of businesses get wrapped up into the press and the almost the the hoopla of, oh, you've made it and everything like that, and they forget that who was there beside them when they started out. And it's important to always remember those people, because those are your foundation.
Yeah, that's true. We have to stick to our foundation and the people who work for us. We really thankful for that. So, what kind of advice you would like to give to the women who are starting as an event organizer?
I think to the women that are starting out in the event industry and journey, number one, it's not an easy place to be. Um, be prepared to put your work in before you think overnight that you're going to get to be this luxury event production planning company. And I think it's really important to realize that it's okay to invest money to learn, and learn the right way. Have someone coach you properly, and don't skip out on that. Don't skip out on that part of your journey, because no one's going to ever be able to take away the knowledge and the teachings and the learnings that you've gained over the years. So I think that's really, really important to understand and to stand by. I think the other thing that's also really important for women is surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with a team, surround yourself with a community that is going to support you, that's going to elevate you, and that's going to guide you correctly. Don't surround yourself with people that are going to give you the wrong advice because they want to see you fail, because there's too much of that. And I think that it's so important that you do find the right group of women and men that who care about your success, because I think that's really important, you know, because at some point I know you as a woman probably supported someone else through their journey, you know.
Yeah. And have you ever experienced gender inequality in the industry?
All the time. I think definitely, you know, I think just in how communication is done with women versus males, I think is different. I think that's where, you know, I focused on really growing a strong backbone to myself, because I never want to see anybody that I work with be disrespected, be
Mm-hmm.
spoken to in the wrong way, and not be appreciated. At the end of the day, we have to remember we in this industry are human beings serving human beings. And if we don't remember that, then we will never be successful in the business of service. And in the end, you are in the business of service. Before you're in the event industry and you look at the dollar size, you have to be passionate to serve. And if you're not passionate to serve, then you're in the wrong industry. So you will never be spoken to correctly. And I think sometimes it's also about education, you know, you
Mm-hmm.
have to educate your client also about service, you know, and how they want to receive service and how their perception of services.
Yeah, so you have to be clear with their expectation and what you are going to serve. That's true,
Of
because
course.
many times due to the miscommunication, things go bad. So yeah, that's true.
Of course.
Yeah. So being a South Asian and being a Desi girl, how you think the culture get influence in the industry?
I think that, you know, the culture is a big part of it, especially if you're in the South Asian like wedding industry. Now, being South Asian in the corporate side as well, it's different. But I think like in the South Asian luxury wedding space and event space, I think culture has a big part of it, you know, because we come from a country and that is so vibrant in so many different cultures and so many different communities and so many dialects of languages spoken and rituals and everything. And everything is so different from region to region. And it's so important that if you're going to be in this space, especially in the South Asian luxury wedding space, you learn every aspect of every region. Otherwise, you will not be successful, because that is the number one thing. It's kind of like when we travel, right? And we travel to Italy, or we travel to China, or we travel to Japan, or we travel to Africa. We teach ourselves so much about that culture and that life there before we travel there. So we know how we need to conduct ourselves, how we need to dress, all of that. So it's so important, you know, that even when you're working with suppliers and stuff in the event industry, like, and a lot of people in the industry and suppliers are not South Asian, it's our job as being South Asian to educate them on how to dress, how to present themselves, because at the end of the day, if we're referring people and we're, you know, bringing them into our big fat Indian world, it's important that we also make sure they don't offend our culture and they don't offend the elders in our culture, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's really important. The education part is so important, because if you want to be in this industry, you are forever going to be learning, and you have to sign up to be a forever student. And
Yeah.
if that is not you, then please do not get into this business and ruin, you know, the customer service and ruin someone else's experience, because it's not worth it. Because families get one chance to do weddings, they get one chance to do milestone birthdays, they get one chance to do anniversaries, you know, and all
Yeah.
of that, including your corporate clients. You know, corporate clients give you one chance. If you blow it and you don't deliver correctly, you're off of their RFP list forever.
Yeah, that's really true. Thank you so much, Nirjari. It was great talking to you, and we really like to invite all the women, you know, who encourage other women, because still there is a good amount of women who afraid for some reason, and they are not getting into their career. And you know, just there is a factor which I don't know why, because they have a lot of responsibilities, like they want to manage family, they also want to manage career, and because of that they just put their career aside, like, that thing cannot wait always.
That's true, but it's also one of those things, right? Your family also can't wait always, right? So I think it's really finding your balance. And if your balance means, hey, having a career part-time and being family full-time, then that's what your choice is for now, you know? And then you always have the ability to flip-flop with it. But my suggestion to you is if you plan to start your own business and fully and everything like that, be 100% about it. Be obsessed with it. I always tell people to become successful in something, you have to become obsessed with it. And if you're not obsessed with it, that means you don't care about it. That means you don't want to be in it,
Yeah,
because there has to be an obsession to perfection. I firmly believe that.
that's true. That's really true. Thank you so much for your wonderful time and sharing all your experience with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to speak with you and be able to be a guest with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a wonderful day then.
Hi, Roland. I see more people signed
Yeah,
on. I see Mayhole Mystery on here. Blush and Co. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining.
yeah, thank you.
Bye, Porvi. I appreciate it.
Bye.
See you.
See ya.